What's it like to sail thousands of miles, explore new places, and dodge a few surprises along the way while sailing around the world in your very own sailboat? Tonight, we catch up with Ulrika, I hope I'm saying that right, of sailing vessel Sorrentium, a 1995 Island Packet 40, currently soaking up the sun in Mexico. The last time we chatted with Ulrika was in episode 33, August 2024. She was in British Columbia gearing up to head south. She's had a mix of crew members join her along the way, each bringing their own experiences to the journey. Now, after cruising the west coast of the US, Baja, and mainland Mexico, she's got some serious stories, epic stops, wild adventures, and plenty of curveballs. Along the way, she's had a mix of crews, already said that. Um, Before we dive in, please, please, pretty please hit all the buttons, like, share, subscribe, and drop your questions in the live chat so she can respond during the podcast. I'm Captain Tinsley, and this is the Salty Podcast, episode 50. Please help me welcome Ulrika. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
I was so nervous. So we're having technical difficulties. As you can see, I'm disappearing here. So let me just try to fix that up real quick.
The sun is in my eyes.
Yeah, we started off with some good technical difficulties on your side, and then
Yes.
then now I'm having some on my side. So we talked back in August, and you had you hadn't left yet. You were still in British Columbia, right?
Yeah, I was in Victoria, British Columbia. Just waiting to get ready to head out. And at
Okay.
that point, I was heading out on my own.
Right. Yeah. So, gosh, I wish my camera looked a little better. But while you're talking, I'll try to fix that. Some of
Okay.
the things you mentioned were that you were looking forward to the flexibility with your time. You were embracing the journey, looking forward to the nature, looking forward to learning all about the different things. You know, the parts of your boat and the tools and everything. You had just sold all your possessions, or you recently had. And now you head out and go down the west coast of Florida. I mean, west coast of Florida. That's
No.
me. The west coast of the U.S. and down to Baja, Mexico. So why don't you just start out and I will try to work my visuals in, but it might take me a minute.
Okay.
Just kind of tell us about
Yeah.
the adventure. What happened along the way? What kind of mishaps happened? There's always a mishap. So
Yeah. So, yeah. No, I last time I talked to you, when I was on here, I was in Victoria, and I was ready to go solo sailing, and last minute I kind of changed my mind, or I put it out to a Facebook page, Women Who Sail, and I put it out there, and I said, hey, if anybody wants to join, feel free to jump on. And I had overwhelming response
wow.
from people saying, you know, a lot of them was hoping that I could pick them up in along the way, but I wasn't planning on going in to shore. I wanted to do an offshore sail completely. But I did find two women. One was local and one came from Eastern United States. And so they flew in and they jumped on the boat. And we sailed from Victoria. We sailed out of the strait, so the Juan de Fuca, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, which is just north of Seattle. And we sailed out there, and we ran into some troubles right away with my plotter. It wasn't working properly. The cables were too small, so I had to get somebody to come and help with that. I was blowing fuses one after another, so there was something going on that was beyond my knowledge. But we fixed that in a place called Souk outside of Victoria. And then we continued and we sailed out, and that was kind of the shakedown, getting to know each other. And we stopped a few times before we got into the Pacific Ocean. We saw lots of whale, tons of whale. It was pretty amazing, actually. We had a beautiful sail out to what's called Nia Bay, or yeah, that which is the last stop before you get into the North Pacific Ocean. So that was
Oh.
kind of the first few days.
Well,
it was just,
how did
sorry.
it work out with being with these folks that you had never met?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was, it's always kind of, it takes a while before you, well, it takes a long time before you get to know somebody. I had met one of the crew members in Victoria before. She came and met me, and we did a quick, took the boat out. So I kind of, had got to know her a little bit. But yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, everybody was keen. It was everybody's, well, I had never done an offshore sail, and neither had the woman from Eastern, the U.S.
Where was she from?
Where was she from?
North, south?
Not too far from Chicago, I think. She had done a lot. She had done
Oh.
some racing in the Great Lakes, I believe.
Okay.
I don't. The sun is really.
It looks so much better
It's really
than mine.
windy.
Whatever's happening with mine, it looks much better than mine.
So yeah, so that was her first. She was working on her captain's license, so she wanted some experience. So it was perfect. And then the other woman had done some offshore sailing before, but just a little bit. She was also along for the tour, so it was good. Yeah.
That, you know what, I was just saying that I wanted to interview somebody that was familiar with Great Lakes sailing. So do you think she would be? Because haven't had anybody on that could talk about that. Do you think she'd be a good person for me to talk to?
Yeah, okay. She does some racing there, so I can get you in contact with her. For sure. She might even.
That'd be great.
Watch it. Who knows?
Oh, good.
So yeah, and we were kind of waiting around a little bit, also because I was hoping to buddy boat with another boat, to friends of mine from Nanaimo. But it was interesting. They didn't have very good wind, and we had lots of good wind. But we were on the Canadian side and they were on the US side. But that channel is big enough that there's actually quite difference in where the wind was blowing and where it wasn't blowing. So we were sitting around waiting for them, and didn't really know where they were. And then we just decided to go because we've been waiting for them for a few days. So we just kind of sailed out into the middle of the ocean, straight out from the North Pacific Ocean, or from the Juan de Fuca Strait.
Okay, and you had said you were not planning on coming in, and it sounds like you did not come in.
Not for 4 days. So we basically just headed west, south, well, a little bit south, but mostly west. And we got out as far as, I believe it was 170 nautical miles off the coast. So it was basically 2 full days straight. Well, it's not straight west, it's south, but it turns out you pretty well go west.
And then you went to Crescent City, is that right?
Yeah, and then what happened was my inverter. What happened? There was a leak in the propane locker, and there was water that got into to where the inverter was. So, and it shouldn't have been situated the way it was, but I didn't put it in. I hired somebody to do it, and I didn't really know. It got wet and it was fried. So we went into Crescent City just to see if we could fix it. And if it turns out it was a good thing that we did, because on the outside, offshore, there was a pretty decent gale blowing. So we missed that. And my friends from Nanaimo did not miss it. They were locked down in the cabin for 24 hours.
Oh, man. It was a blessing.
Yeah,
you never know when a problem becomes a blessing.
Yeah, exactly. So, so yeah, we hung out there, and it turned out we turned out we motored into Crescent City, and they had these beautiful new docks there. And there was people standing on the dock, kind of catching the boat when we came in. And one of the guys, he said, "Oh, I know you," and I guess he had seen me on your show.
Oh,
And
cool.
we had, yeah, and another island packet owner. So we got to know some people, and a couple of Canadians, some Americans, and yeah, it was nice to connect with people who were also going down to
Well, that was one of the things
Mexico.
you mentioned about the community and connection you had mentioned before about you had
Yeah,
noticed how the sailing community was very helpful to you.
yeah, yeah. Oh, extremely helpful. As soon as you say that you have some problems or that you're not understanding something, they're just people jump in with both feet and just, how can I help? So that's
That's
pretty
great.
amazing. But backing up a little bit, sailing out of Juan de Fuca Strait, it was pretty. I was surprised how I couldn't really sleep. I had counted on sleeping, and that didn't really happen because it is so loud, and I didn't know that because I had never been offshore before. I was thinking, we were three of us. We're going to be able to take turns and
Right.
sleep, and it'll be great. I never slept. Well, I slept maybe for 10 minutes at a time, but it was, yeah, that part was very surprising. I had
10
not.
minutes at a time?
Yeah, if that. I'm not a good sleeper, obviously. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Anyways, that
In
was
4 to
surprising.
5 days, it was 10 minutes at a time. Wow.
Yeah, and it was noisy. Like I kept saying, it's like I'm in a shooting range or a bowling alley. It was just unbelievable.
It was rough.
Yeah. Well, I, I don't. It was nice. It was nicer to be up at like in the cockpit. It was awful to be below. I don't
Right.
know if island packets are worse than other boats. I know I've had wood boats before. I've sailed on wood boats, and I don't remember them being that noisy. So,
Well,
anyways,
I
that's
I
one of the
guess it
things
just
that.
depends on how rough it is, and if you've got stuff rolling around inside. I don't know.
Well, I don't think I did, but it was every time there's waves hitting. So, anyways, it
Wow.
was and you don't cook as much as I thought I was going to cook more.
Right.
But you can't really boil much on the stove because you never know when it's gonna, when you're gonna get hot water on
Yeah.
you. So it was yeah, it was interesting. But I think that first few days coming out of Juan de Fuca Strait, I've heard from other people that it takes there's 2-3 days of it's not that pleasant.
Okay.
So,
Did it smooth out a
but
little bit?
yeah, it did. Yeah, I did. We had after the first 2 days, we had beautiful, beautiful sails. I had the morning, the 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock shift in the morning. We each had 4 hour shifts,
Yeah.
and so I got to sit and watch the sun come up, and the dolphins and the whales would join me almost
Wow.
every morning. It was pretty amazing.
Wow.
So
Okay, so
yeah,
after you went to Catalina Island, San Miguel Island, Avalon,
yeah.
and
Yeah, so
San
then
Catalina.
we left Crescent City and another 5 to 6 days offshore down to Catalina Island. We first stop was Miguel Island. Um, is it Miguel? Yeah. Yes, San Miguel Island, and then Avalon after that.
Did you go ashore?
Yes, we did. Not San Miguel, but we went to shore in Avalon. It's a very, I don't know. It's I had never been there, so it was kind of it was a good experience. It was the veterans, it was like uh, veterans fish derby going on, so it was
Okay.
extremely busy.
Okay.
big, massive power boats there. But yeah, no, it was good. We were there for about 3 nights, I believe,
Okay.
and then we continued, and it was busy. The lots of traffic lanes, so lots of shipping lanes coming into
Okay.
Los Angeles. That was I mean, it was busy up in Seattle too area, but this was really busy, and the Navy is there, and there was lots going on the water. And I would hail lots of different ships. Probably every night I would hail one or two ships just to make sure they knew we were there. And that's also new for me, talking to these
Yeah. Yeah.
big freighters. But I really enjoyed it, actually. I learned lots from them.
And
Just
you have a transponder AIS so they could see you.
yes, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
okay.
No, it was good.
But you're right, they're not always watching. It's good
No,
that you're calling them out.
yeah, and often they would just say, "Yeah, let me call you back. I just need to look and see where you are on the radar or on the AIS." And they always called back, held back, and they always said, "Thanks for keeping an eye out for us. We will adjust our course because
Wow.
we are close." Yeah. So as long as I contacted them, they would make adjustments if needed.
Okay.
So it was, and I didn't know that. I thought basically they had the right of way. I mean, yeah, I was under sail, but still, I'm not going to ask a freighter to move out of the way because I'm
Well,
counting.
usually that's the way it works. You're supposed to move for them. So that was nice.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they always adjusted their course slightly, so it's good. Yeah, and then
so
we left
San
Avalon
Diego.
and we headed to San Diego. Same thing, really busy coming into San Diego. It's the naval bunch of naval fleets are there, and yeah, so I stayed in San Diego. It was a long time waiting. I think it was a month. We were kind of waiting for the hurricane season to be over, and I was waiting for a few things. I had mail coming in San Diego, so
So you were there a
yeah,
month?
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. That wasn't planned, and I kind of wish
Yeah.
I didn't. That was a. It was a long time. We were right beside the airport too, and the air
Too
quality was
long.
terrible. Yeah.
Too long.
So,
Okay.
anyways, yeah. So then from there we went to Ensenada, which is the first Mexican town, and that's the port of call. So you have to check in to the country there, and that took a little bit longer because I had the wrong paperwork, but
Oh no.
it all worked out, and they're pretty sticky. Like yeah. So I was afraid I was going to get kicked out of the country, but it was all good.
Any advice
So
on that, on paperwork, on what's the right paperwork and all that?
you just need your registration papers, and I thought I had the right registration papers, but turned out I didn't. So just make sure that. Oh yeah, another advice is that lots of lots of people buy boats, and the boats have been in Mexico previously, and they have what's called a temporary import permit. And if they didn't cancel that permit, then the permit is still on the boat, and you can't get a new TIP, a new temporary permit, import permit, until the other one's canceled, and that can be a real pain.
And okay, so
So,
you didn't have one, right?
sorry?
You didn't have one, right?
No, and this boat has never been in Mexico before, so there had never been one on this one. But lots of
That's a
people didn't
okay.
know that. So, also, if you sell a boat, make sure you cancel your TIP because it's a headache
How do
to
you
the
know?
next owner. You don't. Well, if you had a TIP on your boat when you sold it, it's your responsibility. You should be. But the new owners, they won't know, and if they don't know the rules about Mexico, and then they don't ask for it either. So
So it's
yeah,
not a
it's
sticker, it's just a piece of paper, and you
yeah,
may not even know. Oh my gosh.
no,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's a big problem. So then we left, and then we jumped down the coast of Baja, and I wanted to see lots of places there. So
Right.
we did lots of stops. Some we just tacked in quickly for the night, and some were fantastic. Some were very exposed to the northerly and the westerly swells. But the first one we stopped in Bahia Soledad is the first one just underneath Ensenada.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
it's
far
hard to
down?
find. Well, it's up a little bit further. I don't know. I can't see actually. It's a small place. You might not be able to see it unless you scroll in. But then and then we went to a couple more. It was really foggy. It was really really foggy on the coast because we were close to
Okay.
the coast. So some of the anchorages that we went into, we actually we couldn't even see land. So in
Oh,
the morning when
really?
we left, we hadn't even seen land. It was funny. So, but the first one that's kind of was interesting was Isla Cedros, and that's the island just north of Tortuga, Bahia Tortuga, which is Turtle Bay, and that's an island that's just above. I think the bay is if you go down a little bit further.
Oh,
My phone is my phone
is
is
this
so
it?
small. Yeah, right there, just above there. Just above where you are right now, there's that, not the basement. Yeah, that island right there. That is Isla Cedros,
Oh,
the big one above there. Yes. So you just there we
Cedros.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isla de
So that
Cedro.
so that's so we stopped in there in the town. Um and that's another port of call. So you have to actually check in with the authorities to you have to check in. But they actually saw us coming down in the channel, so they actually called us,
Really?
and they were wondering if we were stopping there. So it's funny, I didn't know that they would keep watch like that, but they do.
Yeah.
They see your boat coming down on the east side of that island we were coming down, and they
Okay.
hailed us and said, "Are you coming into port tonight?" Um, and basically, the law is that you have to go in. If you're going in, well, we could have probably anchored just along the east side of the island, but we went in because it was really windy as well. It blows over the mountains on that island, and then it gets really really windy, up to 40 nautical miles actually coming off that mountain.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what if you had not planned to stop there? You wouldn't have had to, you could just bypass
No,
it?
no, we could have just sailed by and said, no, we're not
Okay.
stopping. But we were tired and I didn't want to do an overnighter again. So we went
Right.
into town. We tried to fit into their little harbor, but it was tiny. So we ended up throwing an anchor just outside of the breakwater, a little bit
Okay.
more south. If you go a little more south. Yeah, right there where there's there right there, that's the breakwater right there. So you can
Okay.
squeeze in there if it's not busy. But there's a lot of pongas, little boats in there. Forgot what they're called.
I
Pongas.
don't know that word.
No, so there's a lot of fishermen and are there. So we actually ended up just anchoring around the breakwater on the south side here.
Right
And
here?
there's a really so we anchored in there. Um, and then there was actually a nice some nice snorkeling that you could do in there.
Are
And
there
we
no
met
trees
another
right here?
trees. No
There's
trees.
no
It's a
tree.
desert.
No trees. Wow.
No, it's a desert. It's deserty. Yeah, it's dry heat though. It's very very nice. Coming from British Columbia, it sure was a nice change
You
to
started getting
have
a
dry
tan?
heat. Yeah. So we were there for 2 nights, I believe,
Okay.
and then we left and we sailed beside. There's this big right down to Tortuga. Bahia Tortuga is Turtle Bay, and it's just in that bay right there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that what it is? I can't see. Yeah, that looks
That's it.
like.
Yep.
Yeah, Bahia Tortuga, so Turtle Bay. So we
Is-
sailed in there. We sailed right into the anchor. Like we sailed until we threw an anchor in, and then we had run out of fresh food actually. So we were just so excited to find a store. So we jumped in our Zodiacs. Oh, and by the way, there's only two of us now because the other crew member, she jumped off in San Diego. So we jumped in the Zodiac and we started going in. The sun was just starting to set, and there's these two. You could tell there was a gathering on the beach, and there was these two people from one from Canada and one from United States. They greeted us at the beach with each a beer in their hands and said, "Welcome." They saw the Canadian flag and come to our party. so so we got off the Zodiac and joined this big feast that a bunch of sailors were having. Yeah, it was great. So they were also heading down to Mexico, and one person was on his way.
Another
And
desert town.
oh, it's all desert.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, we spent 3 days there, I think. That was fun.
Did you have fun? You had fun?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Um, and yeah, made more connections with sailors, a family of 4 that's heading down to French Polynesia
Wow.
in the boat called Oatmeal Savages. So yeah, and they're a family from the west coast of British Columbia too. And then after that, we went into Bahia Santa. Oh yeah, and the Baja Haha, which is the big. What is it? I don't know what it is. It's not a race. It's a bunch of
Oh yeah.
cruisers.
It's like
Yeah,
a
a bunch of
rally or
cruisers.
something.
Yeah, it's a rally. It's a social
Yeah.
rally. They were
I
kind
heard
of
about
right
that.
behind us. Yeah, they were
Okay.
right behind us, and we were trying to stay ahead of them because there was 130 boats,
Wow.
and we knew that we wanted to get into Bahia Santa Maria before they did because we were worried we were not going to get an anchor spot. So we left, and we were basically just a day ahead of them. And so Bahia Santa Maria is right before Magdalena Bay. And now
Did
we're
I go
also
the right way?
into, well, go back to the west coast to
Yeah.
Tortuga Bay. Right, so you keep going down, yeah, down, and right. Oh boy. Yeah. Yes, in there.
Right
So
here?
Santa Maria? Yeah, it
It's
should be Bahia
Bahia
Santa Maria.
Asuncion.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me see what you put
So
on here.
we were there for one day, and then we woke up the next morning, and the boats just start coming in, one
Oh,
sail after another.
they caught up
And
with you.
there was in that big bay that you're looking at, there was 3 sailboats when we got there.
Yeah.
And the next day there was 120.
Woo. Oh
So
no.
yeah. So we met so many people. I made so many connections, and we ended up crashing their big bash that the Mexican had put on for them.
Oh, nice.
So it was a big party with a live band, and yeah, it was so fun. And again, we made lots of connections.
And this is right in
So
here.
yeah, it's hard for me to see because it's yeah, it's called Bahia Santa Maria. Yeah, it's right there tucked in.
Okay.
I
I
believe.
guess
I
it's
don't
not
know.
labeled. So,
No.
and where was the destination of this rally? The Baja, ha, ha, whatever.
Well, Cabo San Lucas was the
Okay.
end. Yeah. So they go from San Diego to Baja to Cabo San Lucas. And
Okay.
there's actually something that's called the Coho that starts in up in my neck of the woods, so in Seattle. So there's Canadian boats that start in the Coho and they end up in San Diego, and then they continue in the Baja. It's yeah, it's a social thing. I think it's great for new sailors who want, because you have to have crew. Um,
Right.
so it's a way for people who have never been offshore before to get to Mexico with
Yeah.
crew, and often who have some experience. Even if you don't have a lot of experience, then you're going to pick up experienced crew. So
Sure.
it's
That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, it's so yeah. And then they go to Cabo is their basically where they end. And then there's another party there, except for this year it got canceled apparently because they closed the harbor because it was too windy. So they kicked everybody out, is what I understand, but I could be wrong about that. So after Bahia Santa Maria, we went to Magdalena Bay. We only stayed there one night because now we're feeling that we kind of want to get down to around the corner of Cabo San Lucas. So we only
So
stayed there
how
one night.
what let me ask you, oh, here's Cabo San Lucas. What were you thinking by this time? Like about your whole decision to sail?
Uh, well, yeah, so I really loved it, but the nights can be really treacherous, or not treacherous. That's not a good word, I don't think. But the nights can be. Now we're only two on the boat. 3-hour shifts was too long, but it was too short for the sleeping person. So because you're sitting there at the helm, and I fell asleep a few times at the helm sitting up.
Yeah.
Um, it's a long, and you're sitting there looking at your bearing. You're looking at the screen, making sure that your heading is within, within you're staring at numbers, making sure that you're at the right. And also you're surfing these huge waves, and you can't see anything uh other than the stars, and you can hear the waves. Unless it's full moon, you don't see a lot, so it can be, yeah, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
like I had this idea before I left. I was going to be laying on the deck looking at the stars and just, in the dream state, but that's not what happened. You're sitting at the helm trying to stay awake, and you can't see much because you also have the screen on, and it's,
Well, when
even,
well, Corey, I guess it depends on where you are and how much traffic's out there, but I would nap like 30 minutes on and get up and check, and because I was by myself or with my husband.
yeah,
But you could see the stars. You couldn't see the stars. You
yeah.
weren't looking at
I
them.
have yeah, you can, yeah. I have a Bimini and a Dodger on just because the sun is so
Oh,
intense.
yeah,
So it's hard to see it unless you go on deck, and you can't go on deck when you're by yourself at night. It's too
right,
dangerous.
right.
Um, so yeah, and we had some high winds. Um, it was gusting 35 some nights, 36, 38 some nights,
So
and
that
it
made
was,
it rough.
oh yeah. And
Yeah,
so, and then you had to reef, and that's never fun to reef. I have a
right.
self I have a boom furler, furling system in my boom, so you could do it from the cockpit. Um, but it's hard to reef when it's gusting 35. Um, so we had a couple nights like that where we had to actually change, and we had to go out further than we wanted to because we needed to have a better angle because the
No,
waves
the
were coming.
person that left in San Diego, was she planning on leaving then?
No, not at first, but I think it was taking too long.
Yeah. Does she have
She
to
had
get
a
back to
job.
work or something? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she did.
That's pesky
Yeah.
jobs.
So,
Yeah. And the other
but
one,
yeah,
how long
no,
did she stay with you?
she's still here in La Paz. She's heading back to Canada, I think, though soon. But she's not on the boat. She's, but she did fall. She came with me all the way to La Paz.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So,
So then,
you're now at okay. Magdalena Bay. Where's that?
that's right below Bahia Santa Maria. We didn't stay there very long.
Okay.
But everybody talks about Magdalena Bay. And then
Okay.
from Magdalena Bay, we didn't stop till we rounded the Cape of
Okay.
Cabo San Lucas. We did not
Right.
stop. We just went in. We had
Okay.
good wind, and we just sailed right through the bottom part of the bottom part of Baja, and then we
Okay.
sailed. So we rounded that. So we sailed from that corner. If you go up north again, back to where I was talking before on the
Over here.
outside, yeah, you see there. So that's Magdalena Bay, right there, right there. From there, we sailed for 4 days, and we sailed
Okay.
straight down, and we sailed all the way around the Baja
Oh,
and Cabo San Lucas. We sailed right
okay.
by there, and then we'll sail up around, and then we stopped in Los Frailes, and that's very close to where you have your cursor right now, right in there. The little tip right there. That's Los Frailes, I
Right
believe.
here.
Yeah, or
Here.
that's yes, that's
Los
Frailes.
Yes. Okay. There it is.
Yeah.
No. What
So
did it calm down in here, or was it still windy?
no, we at first it calmed down, but all of a sudden now you're going north, so now you're being headed.
Oh
So the
yeah.
northwesterlies got really strong in there. So we were tacking like crazy. And you know what
Okay.
that's like. It's like
Yes.
4 times the distance all of a sudden. And then we stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we stopped in where did we stop? We stopped
Bahia
in
de los Muertos.
yeah, Muertos. We stopped there. And that was fantastic. We were there for 2 nights or 1 night, I can't remember, 2 nights. And then we were thinking, oh, we're going to sail to La Paz. And then
Right.
these strong northwesterly winds hit again. We ended up getting
Oh.
stuck on Isla Saralvo, which is that big island right beside your
Right.
cursor.
Yeah.
And at the very southern tip, not there, but southwest tip. That's we stopped there for 1 night because the winds were so strong, or a little bit more west. There, yeah, right there where that green cursor is, or the green thing.
Gosh, there's nothing there.
No, there isn't. But there were lots and lots of manta rays.
Wow.
So we were there for a night.
Okay.
And that's what they call Jacques Cousteau Island, which I'm not sure. Well, I know they've changed the Mexican name is Isla Saralvo, but all the white folks call it Jacques Cousteau Island.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and
there's
then
nothing
from
there.
there,
You were just pretty much hiding from the wind.
yeah. And we got
Okay.
off that morning at 3:00. We started sailing, and then we got headed. No, the wind died, and we motored all the way into La Paz.
Okay, and that's over here, right?
Yeah, that's right down in that channel.
Oh, that's more protected.
Yeah, that's where I am right now, in that channel. I'm not in the basin, but I'm in the channel, right in the middle there, right there.
Okay.
That's where I am right now. Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah, see, there's a lot of boats there.
Yeah, and lots of people get stuck on that the bar in the middle, the shoal.
Right. Okay.
But
Tip of the
before
day.
we're kind of running out of time, but the Isla Espiritu Santos is that island just north of La Paz, and that is
Right here.
is like paradise. No, further up north. So go out of the channel, right there. I send you photos. That is spectacular. That is as
Wow.
nice as it looks. Every bay has beautiful anchorages and a ton of wildlife and good hiking. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've been out there a couple times now. It's paradise. And it's a
Does
park, so you have to
uh-huh.
pay. You need a park permit. And they do
So
check.
to anchor, you have to pay.
You have to pay to go on land. And they
Okay.
will come and check your permit.
Okay. Gringo, pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pesos.
There are wild goats there,
Okay.
and you're not even allowed to bring pets along. So
This is a
yeah, it's
camp
pretty.
right here.
Oh yeah. But the snorkeling is spectacular. I had some photos on my. Yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
amazing.
I did see those pictures.
Hmm.
Let's see. I had to reboot, so I lost it all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had it all ready.
Yeah.
The technical difficulties.
Yeah. And now our hour is up.
Not quite. 41 minutes.
Oh, I thought you would have to be. Yeah.
We're at 41 minutes. I remember we started late.
Okay.
You ready
Yeah.
to get off the phone?
No.
Okay. All right. So some
There
of
we go.
these is that what we're seeing here?
Yeah. Yeah. The snorkeling is amazing there.
Wow.
It's and the landscape is amazing. It's like.
Isn't that interesting?
It's beautiful.
Oh, is that a boxfish?
Yes. They're.
Oh, I
Oh,
saw the video of you changing the oil.
yeah.
How many times have you done that?
Only twice because I haven't used the engine that much. I've only used the 77 hours from Victoria to all the way down to La
Nice.
Paz. Yeah, but I
Very
do
nice.
sail. I do sail. I do sail when it's even 2 knots.
You turn on the
So
engine. No, you don't turn on the engine.
yeah, 1.8 if it's yeah, if it depends on the wave action and how much the. I
You
don't
have
have
your
a.
standards.
Yeah, I don't have a whisker pole, so it's a bit tricky. So I'm looking for one right now.
Is this your boat?
So yes, that is.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Serantium. So
Some good hiking.
yeah, yeah, and that's another island packet right there. So
Sweet.
it was only 2 boats in the whole anchor, and it's 2 island packets, and I know them. So we didn't
Now,
plan it, but
how long were you anchored here?
in that anchorage right there, probably 4 days. Yeah, it's just so lovely to not have people around.
I know. So tell me what it was like. Give me some adjectives.
Peaceful. It's it's magic. It's just you sit there and at night and you watch the sun go down and you just think, wow, this is yeah, this is my life. It's pretty unbelievable. So yeah, lots of fun. That's in
Well,
Todos Santos. That's a place on the west
that was
coast,
before.
actually.
Yeah.
Band-
So, tell me
Bandolera.
how everything is. Let's go back to this picture. Wow.
Mhm.
So tell me.
And
So go ahead.
and anyways, you can snorkel and dive along those walls, and they're just full of fish. Lots and lots of fish. And lots of sea lions too. They're pretty playful.
Have you caught any fish and cooked it and all
Yeah,
that?
I think there's a photo of me holding up a big what was
I
that?
did. Okay. You were in cold weather clothes.
Sorry?
You were in cold weather clothes.
Yes.
You're,
It was cold coming down. It wasn't
right.
warm. I was in
When
full woolies.
when did it start to warm up?
Not till you turn into around Cabo San Lucas.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cold. And it's not that warm here now either, actually. Because it's in the dead of winter here. But yeah, I was in full sailing gear, all weather gear, all the way down to Cabo San Lucas.
So, have you been able to stick to your budget, the budget that you wanted to stick with?
Um, yes and no, because I've done a lot of. I bought another battery. I had help putting them in. Um, I've just refurbished the sail. I had to buy a portable inverter. So the day-to-day stuff, food, and I don't go into marinas because it's so expensive here. It's 100
Not at
US
all.
dollars.
You haven't gone into any the whole trip?
No, no,
Not it's very nice.
no. Yeah, it's been lovely. Um, because it's expensive. But food and it's cheap. So yes, I have been able to, but I've dipped into some of my savings to add items on the boat.
Yeah.
So
But you changed your own oil.
yeah, I do all that. I'm learning to do everything myself.
And your
But
belt.
the first time you do it, you need. Well, the YouTube is great too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, so how long?
But it's on.
How long have you been there?
I've been here too long now.
How long?
I just got my parcel today that I ordered a spare part for my electronic outboard motor for my Zodiac. So I've been waiting for that. So I got that now. So I'm leaving here on Sunday morning.
Okay.
And I'm going to sail north, and I'm going to sail across to the mainland to get hauled out and paint the bottom of the boat.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I'm
doing that in Guaymas. So yeah, so going straight north, past that other island on the east coast of the Baja Peninsula. I'm gonna go straight up there, and then I'm gonna cross over diagonally to a place that's called San Guaymas. It's called. So north. I'm going northeast. So go up the coast of the mainland.
That's a good ways.
Yeah. So I'm going to sail there, haul out, paint my bottom, and clean the boat. Because you can do that yourself.
Okay.
In many places, they don't like you doing your own work. They want to do the work. But this is one place you can do it on your own.
So there's a place in Guaymas that there's a boatyard where you can do your own work.
Yeah, and live on your boat while you do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's not in every place. And then from there, I'm going to go back to the Baja side, straight across. I'm going to go straight across. I'm not going to go down. I'm going to go straight across from Guaymas. So straight across, yeah, to Loretta or Rosalita, one of the two. And then from Rosalita down to La Paz is world-class cruising. That whole coast is supposed to be absolute stun.
Going south.
Yeah, back to La Paz.
Okay.
So after La Paz, I'm going to go diagonally down to Puerto Vallarta. And then I'm going to take a flight to Mexico City. And I'm trying to get my Swedish passport.
Okay.
And at the embassy in Mexico City. And then after that, I'm heading to French Polynesia.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me find this place that you're going in over here.
So Puerto Vallarta. So it's further down.
There it is.
There it is. So that's Yeah, I'm gonna go in
Then you're
there.
flying to Mexico City,
Yeah,
which is
so I'm
like
gonna
way
fly
up
to
here,
Mexico.
right?
Yeah, I got it. Well, no, it shouldn't be. It should just be inland, I think.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go to the embassy, and because if you go to French Polynesia as a Canadian or as American, they want the $5,000 bond when you enter into French Polynesia,
Ah,
because in case of something that happens, they want to be in charge of the money so that they can fly you out if you need to leave for some reason, is what I understand. But with the European
they pick on
passport,
Americans and Canadians.
yeah, it's the EU. So French Polynesia is French, and if you're
Okay.
part of EU, then you have. It's getting dark here.
Yeah, I can't see you anymore.
No, I know. Oh, there we go. Um, yeah. So
That's interesting. Okay, so it's if you're American or Canadian, you have to do a $5,000 bond. Do I
yeah,
have that right?
yeah. It's just to guarantee that you're not getting stuck there without money. So, but if you're part of EU, which I am, but I just don't have the passport anymore. I kind of let it.
Right.
Then they don't ask for that. So
So that's
that's
going to
why I'm
take a
going to do.
while for you to get your passport.
Yeah, they
Right.
take a little less than a week if you're in
Oh,
person.
oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
and
you'll
I've
hang
heard
out.
lots of.
You're going to fly to Mexico City and hang out there until you get it.
Yeah, I've heard Mexico City is really, really nice. People love it, apparently. So I
I
haven't
think
been.
parts of it are dangerous, but any big city, you know.
Well, yes.
So back to Puerto Vallarta, and then you're gonna go straight across, or
So Puerto Vallarta, I'm just gonna. It's better the more south that you go, because you will kind of get into the trade winds quicker,
okay?
and the
So you'll
trade
go.
winds will just blow you right to French Polynesia, Marquesas.
So you'll leave from here.
Yeah, yeah, La Paz to Puerto Vallarta, and then from Puerto Vallarta, just gonna start sailing south until you hit the trade winds, and then it's supposed to be, well, other than squalls, it's a sleigh ride all the way to Marquesas.
Oh my gosh, where is it? I don't even know where it is.
It's
Marquesas.
tiny, yeah. French Polynesia. If you Google French Polynesia, it'll take you right into the ocean. Hopefully, I don't miss it. I better not rely on my sextant, because I'll miss it guaranteed.
All right, so here. Wow, how many days is that gonna take?
25
Okay.
average.
And that's the best place to leave because it starts going further this way if you
Yeah,
keep going around.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Puerto Vallarta or Acapulco. Acapulco is kind of where you want to leave from, apparently.
Right here. That is incredible. Look at that.
I can't see it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're enjoying it on your own.
I'm amazed. Look at this. You're going to go all the way from right here all the way to right here.
Yeah, yeah, just above New
And
Zealand,
are you taking somebody with you?
I'm not sure yet. There's a person interested.
Okay.
This apparently is the offshore passage that lots of people say you can do on your own, because it's compared to a lot of other passages and
Yeah.
crossings, this is the easier one. That's what I understand.
Because it's calm, right?
Yeah, it's calm, but it's just, yeah, you don't change your sails for days and days. You just It's just a sleigh ride.
A
Other than
sleigh ride.
squalls. Yeah. Famous last
Okay. Wow. I'm speechless. Of course, I know people do this, but I'm looking at it like this, and it's a long way. So you have
Yeah.
Starlink.
Yeah. I have Starlink.
I'll be able to track
And
you. You have InReach, or what
yeah.
do you have?
Yeah. No, I have AIS. So if Ship Finder, you can just put my boat in. Just
Okay.
write the name of the boat,
And you'll be able
Sarantium,
to check
and
your email and everything.
yeah, yeah. So you can follow. Yeah, you just write
Oh,
Sarantium, and you should be able to find me.
right.
It's not. I think it updates quite often. Like it's every 5 minutes or something like that it sends and
Right.
receives. So
Well, that's a good place to end right there. That is so when is that going to happen? You think?
I'm
You got to keep
leaving the last week in March, I believe, or middle of March. I haven't decided yet.
from
People leave. Yeah, so from Puerto Vallarta, people leave anywhere from end of March to mid-April, kind of thing.
Okay. So you're going to get all that stuff accomplished. New bottom
Yeah.
job, the passport,
Yeah.
provisioning. You may take somebody. I think it'd be kind of cool if you just didn't take anybody.
Yeah, I think so too.
At the same time, I'm saying that it sounds a little scary, but I do like
Yeah.
being out there by myself. Of course, I haven't been across the Pacific, but I do like
No.
going across the Gulf by myself. You know.
Yeah. 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 No, I think it's since it's the friendlier passage, that's the one to see if it's for you. I think it's a different story going from French Polynesia to New Zealand. That's a different.
And what is that like?
I've heard it can be rough.
Okay.
So that's the one you want crew on, I think.
And you'll decide what you're going to do once that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll deal with that as it comes.
Yeah.
But
I'm open to whatever happens.
Yeah, I like it. I like your plan. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Let's put your information up again. How people can follow you.
Yeah, the blog.
Yeah, the blog, sailaway12.com, Instagram, Vindoman.
Windwoman.
I'm embarrassed.
Not Vindoman.
Well, when I would see that, I didn't know what that meant. Windwoman. I'm so embarrassed. Facebook, Ulrika Schwoback. Does I have that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I say it right? Schwoback?
Schwoback. Yes, close enough.
Okay.
Schwoback.
Yeah. So she's on Instagram, Facebook, and this blog. So follow along, and I'm gonna touch base with you again. I'm gonna have to get you back here, maybe right before you cross.
Yes. Okay.
That'll be exciting.
Okay.
Well, you'll tell us all the things that you accomplished, and oh wow, I'm excited for you. I really am. So, well, thanks for coming back on. Sorry, guys, we were late. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but I'm glad we pushed through it. I knew you'd push through it because that's kind of what sailors do. We just, if we were we didn't have perseverance, we wouldn't sail, right?
my low budget Mexican phone actually was the one that came through at the end.
That is amazing because when the sun was shining through, it looked like a 4K camera. I mean, it was great. All right. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come back on, and we will talk to you again soon. And that's Salty Abandon out.